The past few weeks, Nigerians have seen many constitutional amendments being proposed, from regional government to the one that is actually before the Federal House of Assembly. They are considering a bill that proposes to limit the tenure of governors and presidents to a single tenure of 6 years. They also want to add rotational presidency between the 6 geopolitical zones, plus a second vice president at a time when the government is supposed to be cutting down on expenditure. They want to add an additional executive office. Constitutional amendments are normal things that are done in a democracy. It has been done before in Nigeria in this Fourth Republic. But why are they not focusing on things that will unite Nigerians more? Before we come to the things that will unite Nigerians more, the reason they want to reduce the tenure to a single tenure of 6 years for governors and presidents is simply because they want to cut down on the time they have to loot the treasury. Yes. Is that the right approach? No. Anyone who wants to loot the treasury, even if he has only 1 day in office, he will use that to loot every amount that he needs. So reducing the tenure of a governor or president to a single tenure of 6 years will not guarantee that they will not loot, or that they will loot less. How much they were supposed to loot in 8 years, that they will loot, instead of looting 80 billion naira like Yahaya Bello did, the person will now loot 60 billion naira because he spent fewer years in office. That's not how it works. Instead of focusing on cutting down their tenure or limiting it to a single tenure, let them devote all the effort and make sure that all the agencies, we have many agencies, EFCC, police, SSS, that all of them do their jobs to be able to catch looters. Why not remove immunity for a start? If you remove the immunity of a governor, that means he can be tried while in office. He can be arrested like every other Nigerian. That alone will reduce that looting by more than 50%. Yes. Also, why not make sure that the courts where these looters will be brought to, where they will be charged, that these courts always do the right thing, that they always follow the law and apply it the way it's supposed to be applied, that these judges will not collect bribes from looters and set them free. These are the things that they should focus on to make sure they strengthen the institutions in Nigeria, not trying to limit the tenure of a governor as if 1 week is not enough for the person to loot billions of naira. Now to rotational presidency. The reason they want to make this amendment is because they recognize that some politicians and some political parties have ganged up against an ethnic group or some ethnic groups or some regions in Nigeria that have never produced the president for a very long time. Some have never even produced at all. While rotational presidency falls under equity, justice, and fairness, the disadvantages actually outweigh the benefits. Because what it means is that if one geopolitical zone produces the president today, and that president spends 6 years in office, it will take 36 years for the same geopolitical zone to produce another president. What it means is that if there is a better candidate in another geopolitical zone, he will not be eligible to contest despite the fact that he can turn around the economy of Nigeria better than any other candidate at the present time. The fact that it is not the turn of his geopolitical zone will mean that Nigerians will miss out on that smart candidate because of rotational presidency. So it does more harm than good. We cannot, because we want equity, justice, and fairness in our country, and miss out someone or people who can turn around the country to become a first world country. That's not right. If rotational presidency shouldn't be added as an amendment to the Constitution of Nigeria, what other measures can the National Assembly members take to guarantee equity, fairness, and justice, to stop the gang-up of political parties or politicians against some other ethnic groups in Nigeria, so as to give everyone a sense of belonging? Because it is when people have a sense of belonging that they give all their best to the country, that they become 100% patriotic. But when they don't feel wanted, they will even be sabotaging the country because they feel, you don't want me, okay, take it alone. If they see anything that they can work against you, they will do that. What the lawmakers should do is actually very simple. The past presidential election proved that anyone that is popular and smarter than other candidates can actually win the presidential election in Nigeria. The proof is there. Whether the person belongs to a known party, whether the person covers all the geopolitical zones, whatever the person does, once that person is the best candidate and people actually voted for that person will defeat the gang up of political parties and politicians who don't want someone from his region or someone from his ethnicity to become the president. So what the lawmakers should do is to guarantee free and fair elections in Nigeria. It's very simple. If there is free and fair elections in Nigeria like it happened in South Africa a few weeks ago, or like it happened in Nigeria in 1993, any candidate from whatever ethnicity in Nigeria, even if he comes from an ethnic group that is less than 2,000 people, he will win the election once he got the popular vote. The problem is, when these corrupt politicians gang up and capture the state, they use ill-gotten money to buy up everything. Buy up and hijack the whole system. They will buy up INEC officials, buy police, buy army, everyone, even the courts and judges. So whether they won the election or not, they will win at the tribunal, at the Supreme Court, they win everywhere. So this is the problem. They don't need to include rotational presidency to guarantee that every ethnic group, or at least everyone from every geopolitical zone, must have the chance to produce the president. No, it's not necessary at all. What we need to have is free and fair election. They can guarantee this by making sure that all election results are uploaded. They have to punch the figures. Look at small African countries. They conduct an election today, the results are announced the same day or maybe into the night. But ours take days and days and days, a long time, because of logistics problem. So if free and fair elections can be guaranteed, there's no need talking about zoning it to this person, zoning it to this region, zoning it to where and there. It's not necessary at all. Now to the constitutional amendments that National Assembly members should actually consider. These amendments are things that will actually unite Nigerians more. Do you know that feeling of someone who comes from a very poor family? His father is a nobody, he's poor, but at least he tried to educate him. And he has graduated from university, there's no job, and all of a sudden, because he's intelligent, he attends an interview conducted by the government, and to his surprise, he's given the job. Despite not knowing anyone in government, not having any uncle anywhere, or any chief or any alhaji, he still got the job based on his intelligence, on his competence. This is what is needed in Nigeria. This will not only benefit Nigeria because they are now hiring competent people instead of basing it on quota system. It will make people more patriotic. They will believe more in the country. Imagine someone talking down on your country when you got a job without knowing any alhaji or any chief or any oba anywhere. You will believe in the country more than ever because you have actually achieved your Nigerian dream in the country. These are areas they should look at and make sure they amend the constitution so that it will guarantee equity, fairness, and justice. Now, there's another issue going on in Nigeria right now. The federal government took the state governments to court so that the Supreme Court justices would decide on the issue of autonomy of local government areas. This is where the National Assembly comes in. They must make sure they abolish local government areas in Nigerian constitution. Yes, the way local government areas were created by the military boys when they created states and local government areas has always been seen as being unfair. This is because when a state has more local government areas than another state, that means they are receiving more revenue from the federal government, which is not fair to other states. So what they should do is, take for instance a state like Lagos. They are more populated than Kano State, but Kano State has over 100% more local government areas than Lagos State. Yes, they say that landmass counts as one of the factors they use in creating local government areas. But why don't they consider other factors that affect Lagos that do not affect Kano State? Lagos State faces more flooding than Kano State. Their lands are waterlogged more than Kano will ever be in centuries to come. Road construction in Lagos is more expensive than in Kano. They must sandfill the land because it is waterlogged. In most cases, they have to do with bridges in order to construct the road. So it's very unfair that the military boys gave Kano State 44 local government areas and gave Lagos State only 20 local government areas. They should abolish local government areas. It is the single most important factor that will unite Nigerians. because they will start seeing it as being equitable. They should replace local government areas with municipal districts. All cities that qualify to have a mayor will have mayors, and all the other spaces within the state will be governed directly by the state governors. There are many other amendments National Assembly members can do that will unite Nigerians more instead of wasting time on things that will not make any effect. It won't change anything. Limiting tenure of a governor will not stop him from looting the state dry. Instead, focus the energy. Make sure they can hold people responsible. Make sure all the agencies are effective enough to prosecute them. Make sure there are no corrupt justices in our courts. After all, part of the problem we are facing today were caused by them. Thanks for watching.